Look who's back, New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. A pleasure having you on, Congresswoman. What do you make of this report? I mean, House GOP is moving on a bill to get rid of the IRS, to do a consumption tax. Is that even doable?
Probably not in this Congress as long as the Senate continues to fight us. But I think we have to come out with bold measures right away and make them work with us. And we can maybe find some middle ground. But if we don't come out bold, we're not going to get anything. It's kind of the art of negotiation at this point. But I like the ideas because look what's happening. I mean, we have a country where we're out of control spending. We have high taxes, which actually contributes to low growth, lack of prosperity. And that's what we need. We need growth. We need prosperity. We need people to get back to work. We need businesses to benefit. And that's why we're looking at a pro-growth strategy. We've got to start doing things differently because we've been going down this same path for how many decades? And now it's time to rein in the spending. Look, we just spent $1.7 trillion loaded with projects that really were not helpful to the American people. Yeah. They were pet projects from some senators, some on our side. Some of these community projects were very good, and they had a net zero effect on the budget, but some of them we could have done away with. So let's focus on the things that we need to have to keep our economy going and eliminate the things that we really don't need that look like they're just handouts to, for pet projects for politicians who are retiring.
Yeah, that's monuments to me, like federal buildings named after Nancy Pelosi. All right, your point's well taken. The average GDP growth was like 3.5% post-World War II, and then it tanked to about 2% under the Obama era, then going forward. There's a bill to stop new funding for the IRS. It's unclear whether the Senate will take that up. A new push where tax hikes can only be approved by a 60% supermajority vote. You introduced legislation already last fall to redirect new IRS funding to the border. The thing is, the House GOP can't afford to lose 5 GOP votes or nothing gets done.
Right. Well, of course, as I said, we are showing that we can actually get the votes. We've gotten the votes since Leader McCarthy was elected Speaker. We've got to stick together. We're going to have people that are going to be not voting with us 100% of the time, but as you say, our margins are narrow. But let's look at the IRS. While Chuck Schumer is melting down and going crazy, this is the same guy that wants the full restoration of the state and local tax deduction, which is a loophole for wealthy people. And it's not something that helps small businesses and the average lower income taxpayer. And the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, actually confirmed that when the IRS is bulked up and we have this huge bureaucracy, they wanted guns for a while there. They wanted to be weaponized to that extent. Democrats are typically against guns. But when you look at 700,000 increasing audits, all to people with $75,000 in income or less, not the so-called 400,000 and up, which the Democrats claim this is going to happen. Look, yeah. I was a tax lawyer. I helped out a lot of people, like lower income, middle income, large corporations. The people who could afford to come to me to help with their tax issues were big income earners and big corporations, not these smaller businesses that are really on low margins.
It looks like the CBO estimates that the Democrats penciled in raising at least $20 billion in audits for those under 400,000. Let's watch last night and watch late Friday night. Not one Democrat clapped when Kevin McCarthy announced that the first thing the GOP will do is stop new IRS funding. Every House Democrat voted to keep IRS funding and audits and harassment of average Americans intact. Watch this.
Our very first bill will repeal the funding for 87,000 new IRS.
Even former Democrat IRS Commissioner John Koskinen said $80 billion was too much money over a decade, that $25 billion was enough. And, to your point, again, the CBO said, yeah, the Democrats are going to get the IRS to go after taxpayers making under $400,000, raise at least $20 billion in new revenue from increased IRS audits on those same taxpayers. Your final word on that.
Yeah, here's the issue. The big issue is this. They're taking this bureaucracy and doubling it. It's going to be nearly the size of the U.S. Marine Corps. Every one of those IRS agents is going to get a payroll and well paid. They're going to have weaponization. They're going to be able to have more power to go after taxpayers. They're going to be on pensions, and they're never going to go away. And so we're creating this even bigger bureaucracy, which crowds out freedom, individual rights, and the ability of taxpayers to actually prosper.
Scary stuff. Congressman Tenney, we're going to stay on this story. We'll have you back on. We'll stay on reporting about it. It's good to see you.